can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
You're tapped in, so let's get right to it. By now, many of you heard Lindsey Graham. Senator Lindsey Graham has died, and he died Saturday, July 11th at the age of 71 after what his office called a brief and sudden illness. Medical examiners determined the cause was an aortic dissection, all right? And he had just returned from a trip to Ukraine. Now, there's also speculation that Senator Lindsey Graham was assassinated and or poisoned. Either way, assassination. That being said, there are a lot who are rejoicing the demise of Lindsey Graham, and probably for good reason, good cause. Lindsey Graham is best known for being a warmonger, a closet homosexual, as it is said, alleged, as well as a closet racist, but not so much in the closet with the racism allegation. This is a funny relationship. Well, the relationship between Lindsey Graham and President Trump was a funny one. They say they used the term, or the term's been used, strange bedfellows. Okay, now Lindsey Graham may have enjoyed that, aspect of it, but hey, nonetheless, that was a strange pairing because, as most of you can recall or will recall, he had an issue with Trump before the elections, and he went on Trump. Trump went in on him, and it made me think, even back then, that this was all set up, because no sooner than Trump won the office of president, he began to kiss Trump's backside, something he would probably been, used to doing, something he probably enjoyed, put it like that. But that's what he got to. He got to the point where he was kissing Trump's backside at every squat or bend over that Trump presented his ass to him. We have to say this because it is the truth. He was a lackey, a follower, a henchman. Oh my God, he was so many other things that you don't want to say, so I'll keep it at that. All right, but that being said, he did pass away, and he served before his passing, he served in the United States Senate, representing South Carolina for a very long time, it's been a long time, at least 4 decades in politics, and had become instrumental in advancing Trump's policies and staffing priorities by the time of his death. Tributes come from across Washington, with Trump calling him a true American patriot. All right. Now, South Carolina's governor is now working to name a replacement, and Trump has recommended Graham's sister, Darlene Graham Norton, for the interim appointment. Let's see how that turns out. Most time Trump gets, that may still be the case. All right. Now, the Trump relationship arc between Trump and Graham was something else also. All right. This is, again, I just spoke about it briefly, but this is genuinely one of the more dramatic political reversals in recent history or memory. During the 2016 primary, Graham was one of Trump's fiercest Republican critics. He called Trump a kook, and he was unfit for office. All right. And famously said the GOP would have to be taken to the woodshed if it nominated Trump. All right. Now, Trump fired back plenty too, at one point publicly sharing Graham's personal cell phone number to his supporters. Now, the turning point came after Trump was won the 2016 election. Graham gradually became one of Trump's closest allies, and again, lackey, spitlickle, henchman, follower, butt kisser, in all the above. All right. Anyway, he became one of Trump's closest allies in the Senate, particularly on judicial nominations and foreign policy. Now, several factors are usually cited for the shift. That is, Graham going from, hey, I can't stand the guy, to he's my best friend. It was pragmatism about, it is pragmatism about power. All right. Put it like this. Graham reasoned that his influence on certain issues, that he cared about, defense, I think judges, things of that nature, foreign policy, depended on having Trump's ear. In other words, in order for him to get done what he wanted done, he had to play the nice guy and, kiss up to Trump so that he can see to it that those issues that concerned him most would make its way not just to his desk, but off his desk with that thumbs up stamp, So that's, at least what we think the mindset was, But yeah, all that did depend on having Trump's ear, okay, rather than staying in opposition. His friendship with John McCain, some observers noted that after McCain's death in 2018, Graham leaned more fully into the GOP's Trump era identity without his old buddies or his old allies moderating influence. All right, access and golf. Graham became a frequent golf partner and White House visitor, which critics say gave him outsized access in exchange for loyalty. All right, his reversal made him a controversial figure nonetheless. Critics on the left and even some conservatives accused him of pure opportunism, all right, abandoning principle for proximity to power. Now, supporters framed it as evolving to be effective rather than symbolically pure. On the personal characteristics, though, that I mentioned, Graham faced persistent rumors, okay? And that's a fact. It's been documented. There are receipts for this. And speculated about his sexual orientation for decades. All right. Now, this is something he's always denied and called untrue and politically motivated. This was always was his defense. There was never any credible confirmation, though. You know what I mean? Just recurring tabloid stories and political like opponent speculation in that regard. That's about all it was. As for the racism thing, though, I don't know. That's not a label that stuck to him in any mainstream sense. But again, in today's time, racism is so much more subtle, especially politically speaking, so much more subtle. But that did not excuse the fact that there were accusations and allegations about his racism. All right. Now, racist, again, it wasn't widely applied, to his character, or his character or to characterizations of him. But the sexuality rumors and the racist rumors were persisted nonetheless. All right. So he tend to have went to his grave not acknowledging either, oh, coward, but anyway, that being said, I have a clip. I want to bring this clip in and present it to you guys for a little more context and clarity. Before we do, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe. You are tapped in. This is the Art of Political Discourse, and we want to thank everybody for being present. Let's get to this clip, all right? And let's see what he has to say about this. Now, in fact, just give you guys again a heads up. This is actually his last meeting with Vladimir Zelensky in Ukraine, and it seemed awkward to me. Zelensky looked to me just off and kind of terrified or spooked. Maybe it was the cocaine. I don't know, but he looks kind of off. Let's get to it.
Mercy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy to see you. How are you?
Good. Older.
Good.
Good to see you again.
Sure, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Pleasure.
I am.
Thank you for coming, Lindsey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little update for you here.
Yeah,
Just tell me when I can talk. But good visit with the president, right?
yeah. I think that we had really a good meeting.
Yeah, I
The
think
mood
so
was
too,
good,
yeah.
and we had some very important results.
Great briefing by your intel folks. I would recommend that you send them over on the war
Good. We will do
and
it.
the effect thinking.
And I think that Patriot license is very important.
Huh.
I'm pleased to announce, as of about 30 minutes ago, we've reached agreement with the White House on a version of the Russian sanctions bill that they will support. It means it's going to become law. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give tools to President Trump to help end this war. I've never been more optimistic than I am today that we have the formula to end this war. Help Ukraine be more lethal. Let those supporting Russia to know it's going to be a price to be paid if you keep doing it. And to try to find an off-ramp, not to humiliate Putin, but to end this war so that Ukraine will thrive and survive. Combination.
I'm confident that President Trump won't sign a bad deal. The MOU as described by the Vice President and the administration seems very promising.
Now they're alleging that this is right before his passing. This is again after his visit to Ukraine and with dictator Zelensky. So how many hours after this interview back on Capitol Hill before his death? I don't know.
Iranian media reports about the deal seem concerning. Once the MOU is actually released, we can all look at it. I think that would be helpful. The president's committed to doing that. He's committed to sending it to Congress. I'd like to have a diplomatic solution to Iran's nuclear ambitions. My skepticism is Iran itself. What would a good deal look like? No enrichment. And we'll see if we can get there. But at the end of the day, we're opening up the straits and we're stopping hostilities is a success of its own. But whether or not we can get phase two, I don't know. I appreciate the president trying to get a diplomatic solution.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the end of that. I did want to share that with you. That was his last interview, the one we saw just went off. That took place in on the Capitol. Lindsey Graham died at 71. A lot of people are saying good riddance and thanking their God, their creator for the passing of such a warmonger. It's crazy work. Again, if you look back on the history between Lindsey Graham and Trump, you would be astounded to realize that they had forged a relationship from that previous relationship that was so toxic. I'm pretty sure even back then, a lot of pundits never could have expected that they'd be so buddy after the fact. But again, Lindsey could be just as well a good con man than Trump to have pulled that off. Lindsey Graham again dead at 51. They say ding dong, the warlock is dead, and that leaves room for someone to come in and make a difference. Let's see how that turns out. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you think about this situation. The passing of Lindsey Graham. Does that hurt or help the Republican Party as much as the MAGA base? And his passing, was that something that could be viewed as, I don't know, karma? I don't know what's the word for it. I don't know if I want to use karma, but most people, from what I read, he had that coming. In any respect, he got it. He got it well. That means it remains to see. It remains to be seen who's going to fill his seat. Let Trump have his way. He'll put his sister in, Darlene Graham. I think it was Nordon. All right, and I've never heard her name. I can't recall ever hearing her speak. In any respect, that's who Trump wants is, in that Senate seat as an interim senator. It makes you wonder what bills are going to come up on the floor, which House bills are going to come up on the floor, and she will have, or she'll have access at voting yay or nay for those bills. It makes you wonder what's really going on. Well, if you guys found out anything, please log back in the tap. Let us know what to do, and we'll read the comments and respond appropriately to each and every one of them. Again, we want to thank you for your involvement and participation with this channel. For all of you who like, share, and have subscribed, we thank you very much. For those of you who have not done yet, what are you waiting for? This is Tapped. You're tapped in. Take care of yourselves and each other.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.